My ex told me she's keeping our place, and I should go stay with my folks. This was after I'd covered the security deposit and nearly a year of monthly payments. I said that's quite the strategy you've got there. Then I reached out to the property owner, who happens to be my uncle, and filled him in on what was happening. When she received the 24-hour notice to vacate, her frantic phone calls told me everything I needed to know. I'm 29 years old and currently relaxing in my own place. The same place my former girlfriend Rachel, who's 27, attempted to claim as her own just yesterday. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how everything unfolded, but I need to share this experience. We've been a couple for nearly 3 years, sharing this space for the past 14 months in a great 2-bedroom unit in the city center. When we initially signed up for this place, I covered the full $3,200 security payment, along with the first and final month's costs, because Rachel was unemployed at the time. I figured it wasn't a problem. Partners support each other, don't they? Skip ahead to last Tuesday. I arrived home from the office to discover Rachel and her closest friend Sandra seated in our main room with documents scattered across the center table. Rachel glanced up at me wearing this strange expression. "We should have a conversation," she announced. I took a seat, and she began this entire monologue about how we've drifted apart and how she's searching for her identity. Typical separation discussion, whatever. I felt wounded but attempted to remain composed. Then she delivered the actual shocker. "I'm taking the place," she declared. "You can bunk with your parents temporarily. I already spoke with them and your mother agreed it's acceptable." I genuinely chuckled. Not from amusement. More like a "did she seriously just say that" kind of laugh. "You're claiming the place that I've been financing?" I questioned. "Well, I've been residing here as well," she responded, "and I require consistency right now. You've got relatives close by, I don't." Here's the thing she was clueless about. The property owner isn't some faceless rental corporation. It's my uncle Richard, who possesses multiple properties around town. The rental agreement exclusively bears my signature. Rachel was never included because when we relocated here, her financial history was terrible from unpaid education debt. "Fascinating strategy," I remarked, getting to my feet. "Allow me to consider this." I headed to the sleeping area, shut the door, and contacted Uncle Richard. The following morning, Uncle Richard was, shall we say, displeased when I described the circumstances. "She's attempting to force you out of your own residence? The one with only your name on the contract?" He actually burst out laughing. "Does she believe that's how rentals operate?" I clarified that she'd been living there and likely assumed that provided her some kind of legal standing. Richard dismissed that notion immediately. "She's not listed on the agreement, never has been. She's essentially been your house guest for 14 months. I can arrange for removal paperwork to be prepared right away if you want her gone." I requested he give me 24 hours to attempt resolving it personally first. He consented, but mentioned if she caused any difficulties, he'd manage it through legal channels. Wednesday morning, I attempted speaking with Rachel one final time. She was in the cooking area preparing breakfast like nothing had occurred, humming a tune to herself. "So regarding yesterday," I began. "Oh, excellent. You've had time to think it through," she said, not even glancing at me. "When do you suppose you can be gone?" I was considering by the weekend. The audacity was mind-blowing. "Rachel, you comprehend that I'm on the contract, correct?" "Only me?" She dismissed it with a hand gesture. "We can sort that out with the property owner. I'm confident they'll be understanding. The property owner is my uncle." She stopped moving, cooking utensil in hand. "You're what?" "Uncle Richard owns this property. I'm the sole person on the contract. You've been residing here as my visitor." Her expression cycled through approximately 5 different reactions in 3 seconds. That's not reasonable. I've been living here. I've created this as my residence. You've contributed exactly $0 toward monthly costs or the security payment," I noted. "I purchase food items. I furnish the place." She was becoming desperate. "You purchase groceries perhaps once monthly with the payment card I provided you for urgent situations," I clarified. "And by furnished, you mean you displayed some pictures you obtained from discount stores using my payment card?" She began weeping then. Not sorrowful tears, furious tears. "You're being financially controlling. This is manipulation." That's when I concluded I was finished attempting to be kind. I messaged Uncle Richard, proceed with the notice. The paperwork was delivered Thursday at 2 in the afternoon. I was at my job, but Rachel certainly wasn't. Based on what my neighbor Kevin, who works remotely, told me, there was quite a spectacle. The legal courier knocked, presented her the documents, and Rachel had a breakdown. Kevin mentioned she was yelling in the corridor about occupancy rights and informal marriage. We don't even reside in a jurisdiction that acknowledges that, and even if we did, we wouldn't meet the requirements. My phone began exploding around 2:15. "What did you do? 24 hours? Are you out of your mind? This is unlawful. I have entitlements. I'm contacting an attorney. You can't treat me this way." Then Sandra began messaging me. You're genuinely removing her? What kind of person does that? She believed you cared for her. This is controlling behavior. Then came the call from Rachel's mother, Helen. I actually picked up this one because I'd always respected Helen. Daniel, she said. She never could recall my name was David. What's this about you forcing Rachel out? I explained the circumstances calmly. How Rachel had attempted to remove me from my own residence. How she'd never contributed to rent. How she wasn't listed on the contract. Helen was silent for a moment. Then, she informed me you two decided mutually that she would keep the residence. No, Helen. She decided that, and informed me I could go reside with my parents. Oh, another pause. That does sound like something she'd attempt. She pulled the same thing on her roommate during university. Wait, what? Turns out Rachel had a pattern of this. In university, she persuaded her roommate to relocate temporarily during examination period, then replaced the entry locks and claimed the dormitory room for herself. The roommate had to involve the university administration. I assumed she'd matured past that, Helen said, exhaling. I'll speak with her. Friday morning arrived, and Rachel had apparently spent the entire night consulting with every legal expert she could locate. Her social media stories were filled with legal guidance posts and rights awareness graphics. She confronted me at 7 in the morning with a printed collection of documents. According to these resources, I'm a resident regardless of whether I'm listed on the contract. You must provide me 30 days notice at minimum. I examined her documents. They were all from various jurisdictions. None from ours. Rachel, those apply to actual residents. You're not a resident. You're a visitor who's exceeded their welcome. I receive postal mail here. That makes me a resident. You receive mail here because you utilized my address without authorization. The publications you subscribe to with my payment card don't make you a resident. She attempted another approach. I'll contact the authorities. They'll support me. Go right ahead, I said. Uncle Richard had already prepared me for this scenario. She actually followed through. 2 officers arrived around 9 in the morning. Rachel rushed to the entrance, tears flowing. Officers, he's attempting to unlawfully remove me. I reside here. The senior officer looked exhausted already. Ma'am, are you listed on the rental contract? No. But have you been contributing to rent? Not technically. But has the legal resident requested you to depart? She began crying harder. This isn't reasonable. The younger officer examined the removal notice. This is from a licensed legal representative, correctly served. Ma'am, you need to arrange to depart by. He verified his timepiece. 2 this afternoon. But where will I go? She cried out. That's not his concern, ma'am, the senior officer said, looking at me with something resembling understanding. Sir, if she's not departed by 2, contact us again. After the officers departed, Rachel entered full panic state. The entitled behavior collapsed, replaced by frantic negotiating. David, please, can we discuss this like mature adults? We attempted that. You informed me to relocate back with my parents. I was emotional. I didn't intend it that way. How did you intend it then? She couldn't respond to that. By midday, she was placing calls, attempting to locate somewhere to stay. I overheard her on the phone with Sandra. What do you mean you don't have space? You have an entire sofa. What about just for several nights? This is an urgent situation. Then contacting other acquaintances, each discussion becoming more frantic. Evidently, nobody wanted to accommodate her. Surprising, considering how she handled people. At 12:30, she attempted one final manipulation. If you force me out, I'll share everything on social platforms. Everyone will discover what kind of person you are. Go ahead, I said. Make certain you include the section where you attempted to claim my residence after I financed everything for over a year. She actually began composing a post, displaying it to me like a threat. About to be without housing because my ex is terrible. 2 years together signified nothing. Remember this when a man claims he cares for you. You might want to include the context, I suggested. How you attempted to force me out of my own residence that I finance. She erased the draft. At 1 in the afternoon, Uncle Richard appeared with 2 professional movers he'd contracted. I want this handled professionally, he informed me. No opportunity for her to assert we harmed anything. Rachel's belongings weren't that extensive, honestly. Clothing, cosmetics, some literature, her gaming equipment that I'd purchased her for the holidays. The movers had everything packaged and prepared to transport in under an hour. Where should we deliver this? One mover inquired. Rachel was seated on the sofa, desperately messaging. I don't know. I don't have anywhere. Can you just leave it here until I determine something? No, Uncle Richard said firmly. You have 10 minutes to decide, or we're placing it in storage, and you can compensate to retrieve it. She called Helen. I could hear Helen's voice through the device. I informed you this would occur, Rachel. Your father and I are in Florida for the month. Contact your cousin Maria. Maria, apparently, resided an hour away and wasn't pleased about the circumstances, but consented to let Rachel stay for several days only. As the movers loaded her belongings into the vehicle, Rachel attempted one more time. You're genuinely going to do this? Discard me like refuse? I'm not discarding you, I said. I'm implementing the same boundary you attempted to establish, that we need to reside separately. You just assumed you'd be the one retaining the residence I finance. But I selected this location. I furnished it. It's more mine than yours. You selected it from the 3 options I could manage financially. You furnished with my funds. And no, residing somewhere rent-free doesn't make it yours. She grabbed her bag and headed for the entrance, then turned back. You'll have regrets about this. You'll miss me and plead for me to return. I'll miss who I assumed you were, I admitted. Not who you actually are. The calls commenced that evening. First was Sandra. She's at Maria's, weeping constantly. How can you exist with yourself? Pretty comfortably in my residence that I finance, I replied. You're without compassion. She cared for you. She cared for my finances and complimentary accommodation. When it became time to separate, her initial action was attempting to claim my residence. She wasn't claiming. She just assumed. She assumed she could exploit me one more time. She assumed incorrectly. Then came a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Rachel's friend circle on speaker. We just want you to understand that we all consider you repulsive, one voice said. For not permitting my ex to claim my residence. For making a woman without housing. She's not without housing. She's at her cousin's. And she's there because she attempted to make me without housing. That's different. You have support systems. So does she, evidently. You all seem very worried about her. I'm confident one of you will provide her accommodation. Silence. Then they disconnected. The most interesting call came Saturday afternoon from Helen. David. I wanted to express regret for Rachel. No need to express regret. Helen. No, there is. I raised her better than this. Or I assumed I did. She informed Maria you were controlling and abusive, but Maria's intelligent. She asked questions, and the narrative collapsed quickly. What's occurring now? She's exceeded her welcome at Maria's already. Apparently demanded Maria's sleeping quarters because the sofa hurt her back. Maria is transporting her to her father's brother's location tomorrow. He has a basement unit. But she'll need to contribute rent. Will she? Helen chuckled, but it wasn't cheerful. With what funds? She hasn't been employed in 6 months. She informed us you were supporting her while she determined her career direction. That was news to me. She informed me she was performing independent social platform management. Sunday morning, I received a message from Kevin, my neighbor. Man, you need to see this. He sent me screenshots from a group discussion he was somehow included in. His girlfriend knew Sandra. The messages were from weeks prior. Rachel, Operation Residence, is almost prepared. You genuinely believe he'll just depart? He's too agreeable to resist. I'll weep, perform victim, he'll surrender. Unknown number, what if he doesn't? Then I'll threaten to destroy his reputation. Claim he was abusive. He'll provide me the residence to avoid controversy. Savage, laughing. He's been financing everything anyway. Might as well obtain several more months complimentary rent before I proceed onward. Unknown, proceed onward? Already conversing with this guy Marcus. Has a coastal property. Just need to secure this residence first as backup. I sat there staring at my device. She'd been planning this. The entire separation. The residence theft. Everything was calculated. Kevin messaged again. There's more. She's been seeing that Marcus guy for 2 months. My girlfriend just informed me. 2 months. While I was financing everything. Purchasing her gifts. Planning our future. She was establishing my replacement and attempting to claim my residence as a backup strategy. I forwarded everything to Helen. Her response was immediate. Calling her now. This is unacceptable. An hour later, Rachel called from an unknown number. I almost didn't respond, but curiosity prevailed. You destroyed everything, she yelled. My mother saw those messages. She's discontinuing support. Maria won't communicate with me. This is all your fault. I destroyed your strategy to claim my residence and deceive me. I wasn't deceiving. Marcus is just an acquaintance. With a coastal property. Silence. Rachel, you planned this. You assumed I was too agreeable to defend myself. You were incorrect. I'll take legal action against you. For emotional harm. For unlawful removal. For what? Making you encounter consequences? Good luck with that. She disconnected. It's been a week since Rachel was removed. Here's where everything stands. Rachel is currently moving between distant relatives who are quickly becoming exhausted of her. According to Helen, she's exhausted 3 family members already by demanding special handling and refusing to assist with household tasks or contribute funds. Marcus, the guy with the coastal property, ceased communication with her the moment she became excessive drama. Evidently, he was only interested in a casual situation, not a homeless girlfriend with complications. Her friend's circle is fracturing. Some still support her, but others are beginning to see the reality. Sandra actually reached out to express regret. I didn't know about Marcus or the planning. I assumed she genuinely cared for you and was just confused. I apologize for attacking you. The residence is peaceful now. I've replaced the entry locks, with Uncle Richard's authorization, reorganized everything the way I actually prefer it, and purchased a new sofa. The previous one had too many memories. Uncle Richard informed me something interesting. This isn't the first time I've witnessed this. Entitled individuals always assume they're more intelligent than everyone else. They never anticipate consequences. Helen sent me one final message yesterday. David, she finally obtained my name correct. Thank you for managing this the way you did. Rachel needs to learn she can't manipulate individuals. She's 27, not 17. It's time she matured. I apologize she subjected you to this. I'm not going to deceive and claim I'm completely recovered. Nearly 3 years is a significant time, and discovering it was all a game to her causes pain. But at least I discovered now, before marriage or children made it complicated. The amusing thing is, if she'd just requested to separate normally and provided me time to determine arrangements, I probably would have assisted her in locating a place. Maybe even assisted with the security payment. But the entitlement, the assumption that she could just claim what was mine, the planned manipulation, that eliminated any sympathy I possessed. To anyone reading this, don't permit people to exploit your kindness. When someone demonstrates who they genuinely are, believe them. And always, maintain important documents and agreements in your name only until you're married, and maybe even then. My residence is quiet now. My financial account is recovering. My dignity is intact. And Rachel? She's learning that actions have consequences, even if it's a lesson she should have learned a long time ago. Oh, and Kevin informed me this morning that Rachel attempted to enter the property yesterday. She informed the security entrance she forgot her key. The entrance camera captured her having a breakdown when she realized her access device had been deactivated. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate. Sometimes it's just permitting someone to encounter the natural consequences of their own entitlement. I'm finished with this chapter. Time to proceed onward.